All right, Jason, you mentioned Donovan Mitchell, and I don't know if you heard Kenny's comments after the game yesterday, but he said for the first time in his NBA coaching career, and Kenny's been a coach for quite a long time, he texted a player before the game and said, "Hey, I need a big one from you." He said, "Don, I need 40." And Don delivered with 43, which is an incredible feat for a team that was coming on the second night of a back-to-back and just lost to Boston the night before. Don delivered, as you mentioned earlier. He is having his most efficient, his best scoring. We'll see the leadership parts of it if it comes to fruition later in the year. But so far, he has been absolutely everything the Cavs could have asked for from their superstar. But my question to you is, they're 20-something. Was it 20? They're 13-9 now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're 22 games into the season.
22, yep.
Are they relying too much
Yes.
on Donovan Mitchell right now?
Yes, of course. And, you know, I think you want to talk about this later, so I don't want to get too far ahead on this, but like 2025.
Dive into anything you want, because we're going to combine the two topics.
Okay, so 20-25 games is sort of the benchmark in the NBA of that's about who you are. Whatever you see in this range, that's who you are. The only caveat to that would be if you have a lot of injuries. And the Cavs, I think, qualify for that. And you and I have talked about the Pacers didn't really get rolling until January last year. They had a lot of injuries early on too, as at the start of last year. So I'm not like panicking and breaking glass at this point, but like there are a lot of troubling signs and concerning signs with how this team is playing right now. And yeah, there is no Max. I just don't love a lot of what we've seen. And I keep saying like, that's okay. That's okay. Let them get frustrated now. Let them play left-handed. Let them work through this. Yes, they're stuck in the mud. Pull out of it. At some point, you got to get out of the mud. And we got about another month here, I think, before it's like, okay, what's going on? Because Max, for as great as he is, Max should not make that much of a difference. It should not be. Max Drew should not be the difference in the success of this team. He's a role player. He's a well-paid role player. He's a role player on this team. But Don, we talked last year in the playoffs, and I said last year that he is obsessed with winning. No, he doesn't need anything. He doesn't care about anything else. He's got all the money he's ever going to need. He's got all the all-star games. He's got the all-NBA teams. Probably not going to win an MVP. I just don't think that's realistic. Although if he keeps playing like this, who knows? But the only thing left off his resume is winning. Mm-hmm. And it just felt like he was farther down the path on that than everybody else on this team. Particularly, I thought it really became evident last year. And we won't know until April, but I still don't know that everybody's caught up to where he's at. And I kind of thought last year would be what the impetus for guys like Darius and Evan and Jarrett to figure out like the only thing left is winning, because they all got their money. Yeah. Like Jarrett's not a max, but he's got 2 big contracts now.
Yep.
Darius is on a max. Evan's on a max. They got their money. They got paid. So you don't have to chase numbers now. It's about wins and it's about winning. And I just don't feel – it just doesn't seem yet like everybody else is caught up with where he is on that obsession to win. And when you're playing the way he's playing in December, like you can just tell, dude's on a mission. And I do worry about burnout. I do worry about, can he really sustain this all the way through till June? It's asking a lot. When he's shooting his effective field goal percentage is over 60%. I think that's the first time in his career. It's a career high. He's shooting the lights out.
Career's high across the board in percentages.
Yeah. I just like at some point, yeah, you could have career year and maybe this is it. He's not too old for that. Maybe this is just his career year, but it's also within the realm of possibility that there's going to be a regression to the mean at some point with him. And then what? And then what do you do? So, but I mean, credit to him. He's been, I've said it a million times, he's been everything he could have asked for since he got here. And this year, the way that he's playing, he's found even a higher gear with the way last season ended. He just seems like he is obsessed with winning at this point, and I just hope everybody else catches up to him.
So I want to get to the big picture, long like long season outlook in a sec, but I want to just start with Donovan. Are they relying too much on him right now? And the answer is, without a question, yes. Now, Donovan, and I want to start with the positive, is having a career year, as you just highlighted. And he's doing it in a way that, from a physical standpoint, should allow his body to not break down with the rigors and the falls because he's not getting to the rim as much as he has in the past. Jason, he's still getting to the paint quite a bit, and his free throws are up, but he's doing it in unique ways with that little scoop dribble, getting into the paint with floaters. His career, his field goal attempts at the rim are right around his career low. His field goal percentage around the rim is still low. We talked about that last year. He's still not finishing great around the rim like he did earlier in his career, but where he's excelled and where he's maxed out his capabilities is in that little mid-range game. And his jump shot, his pull-up jump shot in particular off the dribble, he is shooting through the roof on those mid-range and those three-point pull-up jump shots, Jason. It's been incredible because he was a guy that came into the league not known as a great three-point shooter. And as of December 2nd, when this is it's 4/21 of December 2nd, he leads the NBA in overall threes made. There's no player in the league right now on any team that has made more threes than Donovan Mitchell. So that's a kudos to Donovan. But is it sustainable long-term? No. Jason, we saw his body break down in the playoffs last year after a career low in minutes, after his usage was way down. It was a free-flowing offense. It was a calf injury. He's just a small guard. It's what happens. We saw his calf give out on him against Boston 2 years ago. And right now, even though his usage rate isn't through the roof, they have to rely and they go through spurts in the game where their offense is give it a Don and get out the way.
Yeah.
And that's just not sustainable for any player. I mean, even Jokic, Luka, SGA, like they pick and choose their spots, but it's not 8 to 12-minute stretches 3 nights a week. It's, maybe one game a week they really need SGA to go off for 45, or maybe for a quarter against the Rockets in the fourth quarter, they just want to run all their offense through him. Or you could use any example, Jokic, Giannis, whoever. It's not sustainable long-term, and especially in the playoffs, those heliocentric offenses, Jason, it's really, really, really hard to win if you don't have other guys contributing. And you go back to the Thunder, who got knocked out of the playoffs early 2 years ago when they had SGA and nobody else who could score. Last year they come back, and I know they primarily won the championship because of defense, but they had a 40-point game from Jalen Williams in the finals. They had big-time contributions from guys like Alex Caruso and Kason Wallace and Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren, other guys contributing in ways that the Cavs haven't been consistent enough with this year. So Donovan has been incredible. He's given you everything and then some, and then some, and then some. He's been that good. But I don't think it's sustainable over the course of the next 60-something games, Jason, because history shows small guards with that level of responsibility tend to break down, and it's no knock on Don. It's just the reality of the situation. They have to find other ways to generate offense, whether it's getting guys healthy, which certainly plays a role. I am not oblivious to the fact that they have had a ton of injuries. It also comes down to, can Evan become more of a factor on the offensive end, be more consistent? I had a stat I bookmarked earlier I want to pull up here real quick. This is big picture takeaway in a sec. I'll get to it. But it comes down to them making shots. Right now, the Cavs offense is predicated on dribble drives, and they're not driving and not getting to the paint nearly as much as they did last year, and three-point shooting, and they're still taking a crap ton of threes. They're just not making nearly as much, Jason. So it's kind of a system right now that's not working, and their bailout is Donovan goes superhero mode. And he has this season, but I just don't think it's fair to ask Donovan to put on the Superman cape for 60 games in a row if this team's going to compete for a top 2 seed in the East.
So when you talk big picture about where they are, it's interesting because I said earlier about you sort of are who you are when you're at the 20-25 game mark. So what you see is what you get in a lot of instances. And I also said they have done a really nice job of filling out the roster on the margins, which is really hard to do in the NBA. When you are in the stratosphere, the tax bracket that the Cavs are in, it is so critical to find talent on the margins to fill out the roster. Because once you become a second apron team, you are who you are, and it's really hard to make changes. And that's why they've done such a terrific job with some of these complementary pieces. And you and I have talked before about depth, and is depth becoming more important now than it used to be in the NBA, because you wouldn't play more than 7 or 8 guys in the NBA finals. And I still think that's the case. I don't remember now. I guess the Pacers and Thunder both played a lot of guys last year.
But they
in
also
the
pick
final.
up full court for the whole game, and when you do that, you got
Yeah, I'm gonna for now. I'm gonna say last year was the anomaly, and it's still you're only playing 8 and trusting 7 by the time you get to the finals, or 7 trusting 6 by the time you get deep into the NBA finals. Man, my phone won't stop. Sorry, ADD. Now I lost my train of thought. But the question that really with this team, to me, it's not the bottom of the roster, it's the top.
Yeah.
And the guys that they've paid at the top, did they get that right? When you're paying Jared Allen $30 million and he's like 368th in the NBA in fourth quarter minutes, are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll even go so far as Darius with and like the Darius contract, you kind of had to give it to him. It was what it was. At the time, you had to give him the max. But now you look at him, you go, is Darius a max player in the NBA? And would anybody take that contract right now? And I don't know that the answer is yes to that. When you see how he can be exposed defensively, how he can be switched, if you're going to switch everything and teams are going to go right at him, and the injury concerns and everything else. So the Cavs have put themselves in this position, in this tax bracket as a second apron team. And usually when you do that, it's sort of the depth that bites you. You've got the pieces at the top, but you don't have enough to fill in around them. And with the Cavs, I'm kind of looking at them going, is the top of the roster the way it's supposed to be? Because they're locked in. It is what it is. I think the Hunter trade was great. I thought it was a great piece. I thought they got him at a great price, but it also locked them in as a second apron team, which makes moves incredibly difficult. And it's just kind of funny that with this team, the more I watch them, you can go back to last year. I think we both said you got to try and move on from Jarrett after last year, but because of their tax situation, that was going to be very difficult. And I think we saw that play out. But it's the top of the roster more so than the bottom of the roster that I'm sort of confused, or not confused, but concerned about with them.
Can I go even deeper?
Yeah.
They let go of Ty Jerome this summer, right? Who I think now we are realizing was even more crucial to keeping this dribble penetration offense flowing than we gave him credit for. And I had my concerns when they lost him and they signed Sam Merrill instead. And Sam's been awesome. Sam has not been the issue this year. But when they lost him, like, where's that scoring on the second unit coming from? Yeah. And they bring in Lonzo Ball. And Jason, I was as big of a fan of the Lonzo Ball signing as anybody. I thought that was an incredible trade, not just from a financial standpoint, but from the fit of what Lonzo Ball brings to the court. But he just hasn't been good this year. Like, he cannot buy a jump shot. Like, not at all. And I want to give Mike Zavagno, Zavagno, Mike Zavagno, a hat tip on the stat, but he had a terrific stat that the Cavs' offensive rating with Craig Porter Jr., Darius, and Donovan this year is 123. With Lonzo, Darius, and Donovan, it's 103. Craig Porter Jr. is averaging 9.5 drives per 40 minutes this season. Cavs are scoring on 51% of his drives. Lonzo is averaging 3.4 drives per 40 minutes. They're scoring on 12.5%. So a third of the amount of drives from Lonzo versus Porter, and they're scoring on 51% for Porter's drives, 12.5% for Lonzo's drives. So even some of like the little ancillary moves on the perimeter that they made to try and shore up their playoff rotation, those guys haven't delivered as much as the even smaller level guys. And granted, small sample size. Lonzo's been in and out. Craig hasn't played a whole lot. But it's even little things like that, Jason, that play into your point. The depth has been there. The guys they've been most reliant on haven't been the ones to deliver.
So Lonzo, I looked at Lonzo. I don't know how much we got into this or if we got into it at all. I looked at Lonzo as sort of a lottery ticket for them. They were trying to move off Epicor all summer. They were trying to get off that contract, and they couldn't find any takers. They couldn't find a way off it. So the best they could do was to take back Lonzo. And it felt like a sort of low risk, high reward type move because he's only got the one guaranteed year left this year. And then he's got the option, the non-guarantee option, I think it is next year. I don't remember if it's 10, 12 million. I don't remember what it is. Barring a drastic turnaround here, they're probably not going to pick that up. So that was the best way to get that they could at the time get off of Okoro's contract, was to take back Lonzo, try it for a year, see what he's got left, and then they can get out of the money next year if they need to. to help them. And then again, it goes back to the second apron conversation. We've had it before. I don't want to go too far into it because we've already talked about this, but if you really get 2 bites at this over a 5-year period. The third bite is when you lose your draft pick. It drops to last in the first round, regardless of where you finish 7 years out. So if you get 2 bites at it in a 5-year period, do you really want both of those bites to come in back-to-back years if you have a chance to get under and then come back up and take another bite later on in that 5-year window? So moving off of Lonzo's contract will help them do that. That was a sidebar that had nothing to do with what you were talking about, but it felt like it fit just at least.
It fits, but also he was part of the reason you felt, and maybe it's tied, maybe it's not, but part of the reason you felt comfortable letting Ty walk because you were getting the creation that was coming with Lonzo to fill the hole or fill the shoes or whatever, fill the gap left behind by Ty Jerome. Like Sam Merrill, for as good as he is, is just a different player than Ty Jerome.
I don't know that those two are as married together. Maybe you're right. I'm
guessing. I haven't talked to anyone that told me that.
I think Lonzo. I think there were 2 separate issues. I think they wanted Ty. The price was too high on Ty, or so they thought. The demands were they weren't comfortable with what Ty's side wanted, so they pivoted to Sam. And then separate from that, I don't think they're married together. Separate from that, they were trying to get off Isaac's money, couldn't get off of it. And so the best they could do was take back Lonzo on a flyer to see what he had left, knowing, hey, if this hits, this could be a great piece for us. And he's still playing his way into shape. Maybe he does. Like, he could get hot. February, March, April. He could still be a big piece of this.
And he's still a really good passer.
Because he's missed a ton of time.
Yeah, I mean, he played 35 games last year, missed the 2 seasons prior to that completely with a knee
injury. He could still figure this out and be a major contributor for them in April, May, and June. I'm just saying if he's not, or even if he is, they may still get to the point of wanting to get out of the second apron. He's a vehicle to get out of it because they couldn't just dump Isaac's money straight up last summer.
Well, right now, he's the most logical candidate if they want to get under the cap right now to be dealt, because I think Craig Porter Jr. is giving them better production, even though he might be their best rebounding guard, Lonzo. And obviously rebounding has been an issue for the Cavs. Yeah. He's just not giving them anything else offensively. And if he can't make a shot, and right now he's shooting 33% from the floor and 29 from 3, like, that's just not going to fly. Jason, after Sunday's game, I don't have the numbers after yesterday. I should have looked it up. That's a bad job by me. The Cavs were 13th offensively in the league, 9th defensively, 14th in net rating, and they had the 12th best record. That is the pure scorecard in the most basic form of a team that's going to make the first round of the playoffs and would be happy winning one playoff series, which has been what they've done the last 2 years. It is not the scorecard, whatever you want to call it, of a team that has championship aspirations. And we know this Cavs team does have championship aspirations. This was built as a championship roster. The way they're playing right now, I just want to be point blank and as blunt as I can. The way the Cavs are currently playing, they have no chance. Zero, zilch, nada, none. It doesn't mean this is the team they'll be for the next 60 games and for the playoffs.
Right.
But right now, they are not playing like a championship caliber basketball team. And I think Kenny, Don, even the guys that don't talk, Jared, Evan, would tell you that they're not playing good enough.
Yeah.
It can certainly change. Getting guys healthy will certainly help. It'll put guys back in rotation. We have to remember the last few games, they've been playing without Darius, Max, Sam, Jarrett. They were incredibly healthy last year, Jason, and that's what helped them go 64 and whatever the record was, 64 and 16. They've had the injury season from hell to start this year, and that certainly plays a factor. But I think, and key word here is think, that some of the things that the Cavs have tried to implement early on, whether it be the new defensive philosophy, whether it be finding new ways to get Evan involved from a creation standpoint, we're at the point where now you kind of have to figure out what you like and what you don't like from this trial and error period of the first 20 games and start hammering down on what you do well. This team's not going to miss the playoffs. Even with the way they're playing, they're right in the play-in. They're the 6 or 7 seed right now. They win one game, they're up to the 3 seed again. They're not in danger of missing the playoffs. But you have to start picking the little things that you like and you don't like and scrap the stuff that doesn't work and hammer in and focus on what you can. Because when these guys come back and when Strus gets healthy and when everyone is rolling again, there's not going to be a whole season to get everyone incorporated. It's not like there's not a lot of time. There's going to be about 30 games, give or take, if what I'm hearing on some of these injury fronts are right. But that's not a whole season to incorporate a bunch of new guys. And this may be a season where the Cavs get 20 games of basically a full rotation to get things settled.
And listen, the West is significantly better than the East. There's no question about that. But I do think that the East is better than certainly than I thought. I won't speak for anybody else. The East as a whole is better than I thought. Like, I think you and I both said, like, the Knicks or the Cavs or the Magic, and that's probably it. I'm higher on Atlanta than others. Detroit has been
awesome.
Astounding. I keep waiting for them to come back to the pack a little bit. Hasn't happened yet. What a playoff series that would be, huh? JB against the Cavs, and that'd be.
Cavs are currently the 6th seed if the season were to end today, by the way.
That'd be a lot of fun. Miami is better than I thought. I don't know that they're a championship caliber team, but I don't know. They're Miami. You can't ever count them out. So I don't think Toronto's that good. I know their record is. I'm still not a.
It's a bad matchup for.
Clearly,
it's a bad matchup for Cleveland. Like
clearly,
and they're the same mold as the Hawks were last year, Jason. They play fast. They don't really have a traditional center. They got a bunch of long, lanky wings. It's still ironically, even though the Cavs are no longer tiny with Hunter and Tyson and the two bigs up front, like those kind of teams still give them issues. And I would not. I don't think Toronto's particularly good either. But I would not want to see Toronto in a playoff series if I'm Cleveland.
We got a lot of basketball to go, but the East as a whole, I'm comfortable saying that the East as a whole is better than I thought it would be.